Are you ready to live your best life? Are you ready to wake up every day feeling confident and financially secure? Well, in this training, we're going to make that happen. It is my belief that 1 million business people woke up this morning feeling stuck and not knowing what to do next. And this is because of the 3 biggest problems: fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs. And you overcome these by upgrading your mindset. Your mindset is your internal operating system. It is your inner programming, and you go from good to great fast by catapulting your influence, accelerating your impact, and unleashing new income levels. And as you do that, you'll start to live life on your terms. You'll start to become an impactful leader, and you'll start to leave a legacy. Now, it's my opinion that you could be the next Elon Musk, the next Jeff Bezos, or the next Jack Ma. And all you have to do is do what successful people do. And remember, they were just everyday people until they decided to shift to the 100x DNA mindset. And when you shift, you get clarity and you start to live your best life. When you shift, you become a leader. And leadership is the ability to influence and lead others to become their best. It's also how you choose to live your life. And once you do that, you become a natural leader. And then you can lead in any situation. When you shift to the 100x DNA mindset, you leave your legacy. Your legacy is your contribution to others. And this is where you find your life's purpose, and this is where all of your confidence comes from. And I believe that we could all agree that your life would be so much easier when you wake up every day feeling confident and financially secure. The reason why I'm excited to share this with you is because these ideas have changed my life, and I know they can change yours too. Nini and I started to apply these ideas in 2008, and they started to change our lives. Today, we've got the life that we've wanted, and we're eager to share with you how to do the same. Using our voice recognition technology, we extract your brainwave frequencies and show you how your thinking patterns determine your action and personality type. Mind Report helps you understand your unique characteristics by decoding patterns of brainwaves in your voice so that you can use it as a tool for self-development. The electromagnetic spectrum was discovered by Nikola Tesla in 1885 when he invented the alternating current generator. He found that electricity could be transmitted through wires without any loss of energy or friction as it passed through them. He later discovered that this phenomena could be used to send messages through the air without wires or other means of transmissions like radio waves or light waves. Our Mind Report technology works the same. It measures the brainwave frequency in your voice and then sends the information to our AI technology so we can see what is taking place inside of your mind. Now, based on the research, there are 5 brainwaves, each with a different purpose. Beta brainwaves are most commonly associated with stress and alertness. They're fast, and so they occur more often in short bursts. Alpha brainwaves tend to be associated with relaxation and meditation, but can also help us fall asleep. They are slow and occur more frequently. Delta brainwaves are very slow, but also very deep. Delta is associated with deep sleep, dreaming, and unconsciousness. Theta brainwaves have been associated with creativity and intuition. They are at their highest when you are awake, but not paying attention to your surroundings. When your mind wanders or just goes on autopilot, they decrease as you pay attention to your surroundings. Gamma brainwaves happen very quickly and are a high frequency, and they're usually associated with positive emotions like joy or surprise, but can also indicate negative emotions like fear or anger. You're probably already familiar with your own mental and emotional wavelengths. You feel it when you're stressed, lonely, or happy. When you think about someone who made you feel love or anger, you can feel their wavelength resonate inside of you. But have you ever wondered what other people's wavelengths are like? Do they have different emotions than yours? Do they have more powerful emotions? Are they less emotionally complicated than yours? Well, the good news is you don't have to wonder any longer. We've created a list of 19 mental and emotional frequencies that people can resonate with, and I want to share with you the 3 most common. God consciousness. God consciousness occurs at 1,000 hertz. If a person can resonate at this frequency, they will have an amazingly positive day. They'll be able to accomplish anything they set their mind to achieve. Love. Love occurs at 500 hertz. If a person resonates at this frequency, it means that the person has found unconditional love in their life. They are fully capable of loving others unconditionally and receiving love from others unconditionally as well. Death. The last frequency on our list is death, which occurs at 0 hertz. And it means there is no energy left in the body, and they've already moved on to the afterlife. According to a study conducted by the University of Alabama at Birmingham, musical notes are considered a universal language. This means that all humans can understand and communicate through music. The study also found that there are 5 different personality styles that can be linked to musical notes. Extrovert. Extrovert personalities tend to prefer higher frequencies than introverts do. Introverts. Introverts prefer lower frequencies. Melancholic. Melancholic personalities tend to prefer lower frequencies in general. Jovial. Jovial personalities tend to prefer middle range frequencies. Serene. Serene personalities tend to prefer higher frequencies such as whole notes or triplets. Now the good news is, our technology will also reveal to you your musical personality notes. The NLP model of communication. This model explains how people receive information from the outside world, how they process it, and how it influences their ability to communicate or to respond to others. So I want you to imagine that you're at a conference and you see an opportunity to make $1 million. Your knee-jerk reaction is, I'm not good enough to make $1 million. This limiting belief immediately begins to sabotage your success opportunities, because the thoughts you have influence 95% of your feelings, and what you think triggers the fear of being taken advantage of. And anxiety begins to kick in, and you want to leave the conference immediately. The result? Your brain freezes up. You get angry with the conference organizers as everyone else in the room takes advantage on the opportunity. In 18 months, everyone has made $1 million except you. How do you feel? Now, I believe something like this has happened to you before, because it's also happened to me. But if you're like me, you probably don't want to repeat that mistake again. So let's redefine emotional intelligence, and let's begin to develop some $1 million habits. Emotional intelligence is your ability to perceive, understand, and manage your emotions. It includes the ability to understand your own emotions and those of others, as well as their impact on your thoughts and behaviours. Emotional intelligence can be thought of as a set of skills that allows someone to thrive in a variety of situations. A person who has more active emotional intelligence may have better relationships with others, be more successful in work settings, or perform better at sports. People who have less active emotional intelligence may struggle in these same areas. Through my research, I've discovered that there are 5 pillars of emotional intelligence. Self-awareness. This is understanding who I am and why I think and feel the way that I do. And you've heard me say it before. If you can't name it, you can't tame it. Which leads us to self-regulation. Self-regulation is the ability to get out of any mental or emotional rut that you find yourself in. Motivation. Motivation comes from within you, and it's something that can be strengthened over time. And as you've heard me say it before, you can't beat the person who refuses to quit. Social awareness. This is also known as empathy, and is the ability to read other people's mental and emotional makeup. And as I say, no empathy, no sale. Social regulation. This is the ability to influence, persuade, and make an impact in other people's lives. Remember, 95% of mistakes in business come from communication areas. And if we remove these barriers, then you'll have more money than you can possibly spend. Now, the world is changing, and it's changing really fast. For business leaders, this means the ability to navigate new situations and to adapt, adjust, and respond quickly, which is a critical skill for success in the years ahead. But the question is, can you get there? Emotional intelligence is considered one of the most important skills for success in the workplace. In fact, according to a study by Harvard Business Review, emotional intelligence accounts for 58% of your daily success, and less than 36% of the population can identify their emotional state. Now, to gain an edge in your industry, you need to know what emotions are guiding your actions and how you can improve your emotional intelligence. Now, here's some emotional intelligence facts for the years ahead. Emotional intelligence is considered a critical skill for this year. Emotional intelligence can be improved. People with higher levels tend to perform better. Those with high emotional intelligence make more money. Generation Y has the lowest levels of self-regulation. Chinese executives outperform US executives by 15 EQ points. And every EIQ point increase adds $1,300 to an annual salary. Now, I want you to think about it. Which of these resonates the most with you? Now, as we continue, we're going to learn about stress. So my question is, have you ever experienced stress? Was it at home or was it at work? And what caused or what triggered the stress? Was it people? Was it tasks? Was it systems? And what made it worse? Was it the pictures you had in your mind? Was it your self-talk? Or did you avoid the stress? Now let me ask you, would you recommend getting stress to a friend or a loved one? Well, the answer is no. Starting today, you can finally identify exactly what impacts your stress levels and how they impact you. which enables you to stop the triggers in the first place. By doing so, we believe that you'll feel more peace of mind and start to feel confident in yourself once again. After completing your mind report, we will identify what type of stress you have and to what degree. We'll be looking for two types of stress: logical stress and emotional stress. Logical stress is all things not related to humans. It includes job, money, projects, career, tasks. People who have logical stress tend to have a lot of struggles for themselves. On the other hand, we have emotional stress, and this is to do with people. It's all related to humans, to your spouse or your family, your relationships. People who suffer from emotional stress tend to take on too much responsibility. They're very good with people, and they often care about others too much. These people don't lose sleep about their career, and they don't worry about money. Their struggle is for other people. And when you complete your mind report, we're going to show you which one has the biggest impact on your performance. Emotional expression and disclosure. Here's my question. Do you show your emotions? Or do you hide them? And when do you hide them? And the question, why do you hide them? Or maybe you share too much emotional information with others. And when you do, does it help or does it hurt? Now, in this section of the training, it's designed to help you to increase your self-awareness, improve your self-regulation, and stay motivated 99% of the time. Emotional expression is a form of communication that allows us to share our feelings and emotions. We express and communicate through our facial expressions, body language, gestures, and tone of voice. Disclosure refers to how much information we share with others. This can include the amount of emotional disclosure we share with others, as well as the amount of information we share about ourselves. So let's explore how you express and how often you express emotions. Think about it. Do you tend to do it externally or internally? See, the research has discovered that there are 12 types of emotional expression. There is no good or bad, right or wrong. There is only what works. Now, for some people, you are just starting on your journey of self-discovery, and this may be more challenging for you to identify. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to trust in science and technology. Our mind report has been developed over the past 40 years. There has been millions of case studies, and as you become more emotionally aware, you'll start to see your patterns. And once you discover yours, you can then learn how to improve or maintain it. Extrovert, 4th degree. This is the area of emotion where you are focused on others. Emotions range from being strong and reasonable to the fear of failing and desperately trying to keep control. Extrovert, 3rd. On this scale of emotions, your attention is focused on others, whilst in the background, you'll be feeling a little anxious. It extends to the emotion of being cheerfully relaxed. Extrovert, 2nd. You'll talk a lot about your own emotions. Emotions run from being grim, from having to perform, to having difficulties getting started after much deliberation. Extrovert, 1st. They talk a lot about their emotions. They can be extremely caring and may need a lot of support. Devoted. This person sets reasonable to possibly exaggerated standards, both for themselves and others. Balanced. This is the optimal balance between extrovert and introvert. When balanced, you can easily control the level of emotional disclosure or expression. At this level, you'll experience more peace of mind. Absent. Emotions that you encounter are in the range from dreariness and keeping your emotions to yourself to being overactive. This can also be based on lower self-esteem. And how I describe self-esteem is how much you like and respect yourself. And it can be more or less active in different areas of life. Lowered sense of reality. Your emotions can range from being shy, lacking strength, and being cautious to being anxious, which is excessive worry or fears of the future. Emotions range from being happy to theatrical, not able to see things in real perspective, feelings of being imprisoned within yourself, and in extreme cases, possible psychosis or panic attacks. Introvert first. Certainly active, but your emotions are running from being insecure, a workaholic, into being weak, from being sloppy to pushy. Introvert second. Emotions result in passive behavior, chaotic stress to feeling weakness, in which you have ideas, goals, and aspirations. They're present, but are not being acted on or realized. This can be painful, and you may possibly exaggerate the pain. Introvert third. They speak little or nothing about their own emotions. Emotions have a negative undertone. You may say you're excited, but the feeling may be anxious. Emotions range from being concerned to feelings of despair, and eventually become gentle or mild. Now, introvert third degrees may not have a strong mental condition at this moment. Introvert fourth. They hardly talk about their own emotions. Emotions in this area are graded on a scale from mild to profound, being down, melancholic, to eventually bitter and absent-minded. They have a feeling of powerlessness and can be like this for lengthy periods of time. Left and right brain emotional processing. Do you feel emotions? And if you do, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, how aware of your emotions are you? Now think about the basic emotions. How many basic emotions are there? Well, let me run you through a list. Ecstasy. This includes joy, serenity, optimism. Admiration includes trust, acceptance, and love. Terror includes fear, apprehension, and submission. Amazement includes surprise, distraction, awe. Grief includes sadness, pensiveness, disapproval. Loathing includes disgust, boredom, remorse, contempt. Rage includes anger, annoyance, aggressiveness. Vigilance includes anticipation, interest, and optimism. Now, these emotions are normal human emotions. And I want you to think about this. Do you feel comfortable expressing them? Or do you find it difficult to express your emotions? See, everyone has their own way of coping with stress and tension. But if there was a way to change it, would you want to learn how? See, the left and right brain emotional processing page is designed to help you achieve balance in your brain. And we believe that when you can find balance, you'll be able to eliminate stress, anxiety, and unhappiness from your life. The left and right brains are two halves of your brain that work together to process emotion. When you're feeling an emotion, the left side of your brain takes over, which processes rational thought to think through the emotions you're feeling. The right side of your brain is emotional and deals with those feelings rather than thinking about them. When you have a negative emotion, like anger or sadness, it's usually because the left side of your brain has taken over and is processing all those thoughts about how you feel, which can be both confusing and overwhelming. The trick is to let go of the logical side of your mind so that those emotions can be processed by the right side of your brain instead. And this is why we use the science of timeline therapy to overcome and make those emotions rational. Response patterns. Do you like to be in control? Or maybe you hate being part of a team and prefer being the leader in control. Or maybe you've found yourself making other people happy at your own expense. Maybe you'll let others win so they feel better about themselves. Or maybe you'll give a discount just to make others happy, but you lose out financially. Or maybe you're a bit of both. Now, the response pattern page will help you understand your personality style and gain clarity on how to best communicate with others. It will also help you stay motivated 99% of the time, which means you can spend more time doing what matters to you. Now, let's take a look at the dominating personality. Dominating personality types tend to be more self-confident than pleasing personality types, who tend to be more sensitive. Dominating types like to be in charge of everything and take complete control of their lives. They tend to be more ambitious than pleasing types, who are more laid back and content with their current situation. They're also more likely to have trouble with authority figures like teachers, leaders, managers, employers, and parents, because they don't care much about what other people think. Pleasing personalities. Pleasing personalities are generally more easygoing than domineering ones. They may enjoy being in charge of a relationship, but they don't want things done their way all the time. They want their partner's opinion considered as well. They're also less likely than dominating personalities to take offence from other people's opinions or behaviours towards them. They're more focused on making everyone around them happy and comfortable. Life patterns. Have you ever felt confused about who you are? Have you ever set a goal and found that it didn't motivate you, or even led to procrastination? Do other people see or know the real you? Or do you hide your true self and pretend to be somebody else? If you said yes to any of those, then you're going to love this section of the training. Life patterns give you clarity on your life pattern, insights on how you start and finish, and the ability to eliminate any inner conflicts that may be troubling you. If you're fast-moving, you may be high energy and spontaneous. You might like to try many new things at once or take on projects that require a lot of energy. If you're slow-moving, you may be more of a thinker and a planner. You might be good at taking care of details and making sure everything is done in the right order. Or if you're consistent, then that means that your life patterns repeat themselves over and over again, like when you go to work every day or eat lunch at the same restaurant every week. If your life patterns are unpredictable, for example, they change from one month to the next, then that means that no matter what happens in your life, it's hard for others to predict what will happen next. Through our research, we have discovered 18 musical note personalities, and I'm going to describe each of these to you. A-mole. A strong, influential people with a flattering kind of behaviour, honourable and modest, sometimes with softness and moments of weakness, but stubborn with something passionate or a feeling of controlled revelry. A sharp deux. On the one hand, they can be somewhat gloomy, but also capable to brighten up themselves. They have a warm and mild personality, with a growing insight towards the deeper inner self. But they have a long way to go. And the good news is, they're committed to going in depth. B sharp mole. Softly complaining, solitary, admonishing, ascetic, and a little melancholic personality. They can be a patient person whilst quietly complaining, but this is a mental state they may not stay in too long. B sharp deux. Tough and at times a somewhat unpleasant personality. They sometimes experience a kind of desperate feeling, suppressed anger, or passions, a desperate feeling. Mostly this condition doesn't last for long, and the person is longing to find a new balance in life. C mole. A nice character, sometimes a little bit boring, but can amaze others once in a while. Nice, but perhaps a sad side. C deux. Active, happy personality, bright and present, but never overly enthusiastic, has a pure character and is sometimes a little naive. D mole. Calm, happy and peaceful person, looks serious and rigid at first sight, sometimes worrying, but has a happier feeling more than sad. D deux. Inviting, open, a lively kind of person, can be provoking at times, but has a big heart with a warm character. Des deux. Very stimulating, waking up personality, sometimes a bit sentimental, thinking about the earlier days. E mole. Is brooding, is sad, but always hopes to get relief. A kind of cool personality, but difficult to get a picture of. They have two ways of presenting, very positive or negative, with a dreamy type of behaviour. E deux. This person is always looking for joy, but with contradictions. They can be very happy, but also very sad. Also jumping up and falling down. S mole. A kind of moody and fearful attitude, negative and sometimes overactive mood. S deux. Serious, official-like behaviour. Looks like feeling superior to others. Is possibly in a dependent and desperate situation. F mole. Takes everything too seriously. Tends to be melancholic. F deux. A brilliant person. Brave, peaceful, firm, not looking too deep into emotions. He is cheerful, humorous, and easygoing. Fis mole. This person does not like the situation in which he or she is living in. They can be grumpy and sad, and feel in periods of loneliness, and sometimes show negativity towards people around them. G mole. A bright but strict personality, balanced in happiness and sadness, easygoing but also sometimes mandatory. They show disagreement and can be emotionally deeply touched. G deux. Positive and open person, easygoing and mild, likes to talk about joyful and sad topics, and they love new and stimulating issues. When I first learned about these technologies and used them for myself, I discovered that the way that I presented myself on the outside was very different to how I felt on the inside. My public self and my musical note personality is E deux. And this is a pessimistic, quiet, less expressive of their own thoughts and feelings. Now, how that helped me was, as a coach, I wouldn't express my feelings in a coaching session. And that's important to me because the coaching session is always about the client. Emotional states. I'm always looking for happiness, but with contradictions. Emotional ups and downs. Sometimes happy, but sometimes sad. And this is so true for my personality. I love to live in many places around the world, but by living in one place, I have to give up the joys and the benefits of another place. And oftentimes, if I move to a new place, I think about how good the previous place was. Now, how I present myself privately to myself, I'm enthusiastic, inspiring, motivational, and influential. And people who know me personally often repeat those same words. They say, Daniel, you're so enthusiastic. You inspire us. You motivate us. Now, the emotional state is also feeling sad or emotional when thinking about the past. For me, this is true. For me, I've had so many wonderful experiences throughout my life. Buying and selling real estate, being one of the top sales creators in the country, starting businesses, managing businesses, turning businesses around, living in the United Kingdom, living in Ireland, living in America, living in the United Arab Emirates, living in Taiwan. And I've had so many wonderful journeys and had so many wonderful experiences. And for the business people here, for the entrepreneurs, you know how many disappointments there are on the way. You might take 2 steps forward and go 3 steps backwards. And sometimes I do feel sad and emotional when thinking about the past. Now, emotional doesn't always mean a negative emotion. There's a lot of positive emotions from the past, especially around sports, where I became a 3-time state champion athlete, an Australian champion athlete, and even competing at the Extreme Games. There's so many positive emotions when thinking about my past. Now, in addition, my speed is E, and I start at a medium pace, and how I finish is also at a medium pace. My starting pace and finishing pace is the same, and what this means is I'm a very consistent person. I like to have my routines. I'm extremely predictable. I like to eat at the same restaurants and order the same meal and go to the same destinations for holidays. So for me, I start at a medium pace and I finish at a medium pace. I am slow and steady, but I always win the race. My characteristics and inner potential. Do you ever feel that you should be further ahead in life at this age? If you said yes, where should you be? Do you feel you should be more successful in your career? What title or position should you hold? Should you have more security for you and your family? And how much should you have saved or invested? Excellent. Now think about this for a moment. Some people can be described as coming from the head or the heart. Where do you come from? Others can be described as coming more from the heart or the gut. Where do you come from? Others can be described as coming more from the head than the gut. Where do you come from? Now, what does that say about you? Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you were being pulled in 2 different directions? Your head or logic said one thing. Your heart or feelings said another. Your gut instinct said something else. Or maybe your head and heart said no, but your gut said go. Or maybe you've been trying to make a change and it feels like there's no way forward. Well, let me introduce to you the Enneagram. The Enneagram is a tool that can help you identify which part of your personality is dominant and what that means in your life. It can help you give yourself the strength and power to step up in life, to take charge of your confidence, and go from good to great fast. The Enneagram is a 9-type personality model of human personality, and it has been used to analyze character development and interpersonal relationships. The Enneagram is a personality type system that helps you understand why people think, feel, and act the way they do. It identifies your personality preferences and how they relate to your personality types. The Enneagram is based on 9 interlocking personality types, each with its own characteristics, strengths, and limitations. Each type has 3 factors: a spiritual wing, a mental wing, and a physical wing. The spiritual wing is about what motivates you. The mental wing is about your thoughts, and the physical wing is about your actions. Now, each type has an inner core that represents its essence, what makes it unique from all other types. And you can think of these as your primary qualities, as they make up who you are as a person. So, these are the 9 styles: the perfectionist, the helper, the winner, the romantic, the observer, the loyalist, the adventurer, the boss, and the mediator. So what does each of these styles seek? Well, styles 1, 8, and 9, the perfectionist, the boss, the mediator, what they seek is power, strength, and control. Types 2, 3, and 4, the helper, the winner, the romantic. What they seek is a sense of acknowledgement, a sense of value, affirmation, and esteem. Styles 5, 6, and 7, the observer, the loyalist, the adventurer. They're looking for safety and security. Now, each style is connected to a different part of the body. Styles 1, 8, and 9, the perfectionist, the boss, and the mediator, they're most connected to their body. They're most connected to their gut. Styles 2, 3, and 4, the helper, the winner, the romantic. They are most connected to the heart. Styles 5, 6, and 7, the observer, the loyalist, the adventurer. They are most connected to the head. Now, when we explore your personality type, your characteristics, and inner potential, we'll be looking at them in your mind report. Let's have an overview of each style. Type 1, qualities of the perfectionist. The description: the world is an imperfect place, and I work towards perfection. Perfectionists are dedicated, ethical, they focus on excellence, very proactive, and extremely self-disciplined. Their strengths include being honest, responsible, conscientious, hard-working, dependable, practical, and self-reliant. Under stress, however, they become overly self-critical and very critical of others. Their routines are inefficient, and they have too high expectations of their own self and of others. The challenges: they're resentful, rigid, judgmental, non-adaptable, and overly critical. Type 2, qualities of the helper. Description: people depend on my help. I am needed. Helpers are generous, loving, kind-hearted, sincere, and a warm personality. Their strengths include being caring, helpful, relationship-oriented, generous, sensitive to others' feelings, supportive, and exuberant. Now, under stress, they tend to help others in the wrong way. They become overly selflessness. They're overly concerned regarding others' evaluation of them. Their challenges: prideful. They're dependent on the approval of others. They can be intrusive, demanding, and come across privileged. Type 3. The qualities of the winner. Description: the world values a champion. I must be successful. Winners are charismatic, efficient, goal-oriented, self-affirming, and successful. Their strengths are their enthusiasm, their action orientation. They're great problem solvers. They're successful, efficient, practical, and competent. However, under stress, everything is about a competition. They want to win at everything. They have an over-reliance on external achievements, and they tend to hide their own weaknesses. The challenges for the winner is they're image-driven, overworked, impatient, competitive, and out of touch with their feelings. Type 4. Qualities of the romantic. Description: I want to find my authentic self and my unique significance. The romantics are compassionate, creative, introspective. They're looking for the meaning of life. They're unique and authentic. Their strengths are their creativity, their empathy. They're idealistic, and they're very capable of compassion. But under stress, they find it hard to blend into society. They're excessively pessimistic, and they do have mood swings. The challenges they face is being moody, withdrawn, self-absorbed, oversensitive, demanding, and unsatisfied with what is. Type 5. Qualities of the observer. Description: I need privacy to think. I need privacy to gain more knowledge. The observers are analytical, insightful, knowledgeable, observant, and open-minded. Their strengths: they're scholarly, perceptive, thoughtful, self-reliant, dependable, respectful, and they're calm in a crisis. Tendency under stress: they become overly self-protective. They seem unapproachable, too rational, and too objective. Their challenges: they are detached. They're isolated. They're overly intellectual. They withhold information, and they tend to be hoarders. Type 6. Qualities of the loyalist. Description: I am comfortable and loyal to what I am doing now. They're loyal, they're persistent, they're great in a team, they're trustworthy, and they'll be well prepared. Their strengths is their perceptive and sensitive nature. They're loyal, warm, witty, courageous, and strategic thinkers. They do have tendencies under stress, which include difficulty in trusting others wholeheartedly. They do lack enthusiasm. They do lack motivation. And often, they're too conservative and stay in the comfort zone. Their challenges: they're anxious, they're hypervigilant, they're pessimistic, they're contrary, and they have an overactive imagination. Type 7. Qualities of the adventurer. Description: the world is full of opportunities and options. I look forward to the future. They're curious, enthusiastic. They seek freedom. They keep moving forward, and they're optimistic. The strength is they're adventurous, playful, imaginative, energetic, optimistic, and quick thinking. Under stress, they have a lack of concentration. They're excessively optimistic and too impulsive. Their challenges include being self-absorbed, dispersed, uncommitted, impatient, and often unrealistic. Type 8. Qualities of the boss. Description: the world is an unjust place. I protect the innocent. Bosses are empowering, protective, resilient, super willpower, and visionaries. Their strengths include their courage, their strength. They are fair, truthful, determined, generous, and very protective of others. Now, under stress, they push their own self beyond their limits. They're too manipulative and too domineering. They're also very obsessed about authority. challenges. They're excessive, they get angry, they dominate, they're lustful, and they're extremely afraid of being vulnerable. Type 9. Qualities of the mediator. Description: I desire to have inner stability and peace of mind. Mediators are accepting, diplomatic, friendly, patient, and peaceful. Their strengths include being excellent mediators, caring, supportive, adaptive, steady, receptive, and non-judgmental. Under stress, they actually experience anxiety about conflict. They compromise to excess, and they have a passive and sloppy attitude. Their challenges include being stubborn, ambivalent, self-forgetful, indecisive for themselves, and they do avoid conflict. Now, there's also a 10th style, and we call this type O, and we call this the seeker. And the seeker doesn't have a dominant personality or characteristic yet, but what we know is they're in search for excellence. If type O shows up in your mind report, then I'm going to explain that to you personally. Frequent and core emotions. Can you recall the definition of self-awareness? Self-awareness is understanding who I am and why I think and feel the way that I do. And as I said, if you can't name it, you can't tame it, which leads to self-regulation. Now, can you recall the definition of self-regulation? Self-regulation is the ability to get out of any mental or emotional rut that you find yourself in. Excellent. Now, let's begin to apply this consciously. Frequent and core emotions are two terms that are used in the field of psychology. They are meant to describe the emotions that you experience most often and those that you experience most deeply. Frequent emotions are the ones you frequently experience, such as happiness or sadness. Frequent emotions can also include positive emotions, like happiness and contentment, as well as negative emotions, like anger or fear. Core emotions are the ones that are felt at a deep level, such as love and hate. Core emotions can also include both positive emotions, like happiness and contentment, as well as negative emotions, like rage or terror. What are emotions? Have you ever heard things like this before? Real men don't cry. Stiff upper lip. Suck it in. Toughen up. Be a man. Put your big girl pants on. What did you hear growing up? What were your family's approach to expressing emotions? Did they encourage you to express, or did they encourage you to repress it? The reality is, emotions are a part of everyday life. Every person has them, and they can be either positive or negative. Now, Dr. Pert says, emotions are not simply chemicals in the brain. They are electrochemical signals that carry emotional messages throughout the body. These signals are a mixture of peptides and have far-reaching effects. Now, as our feelings change, this mixture of peptides and chemistry also changes throughout your body and your brain. And they're literally changing the chemistry of every cell in your body and sending out vibrations to other people. Now, according to the book, Discovering Psychology, an emotion is a complex psychological state that involves three distinctive components. The three distinct components include a subjective experience, a physiological response, and a behavioral response. So what are emotions? Researchers have also identified and classified the different types of emotions. Paul Ekman suggested that there are 6 basic emotions that are universal throughout human cultures. These include fear, disgust, anger, surprise, happiness, and sadness. In 1999, Paul Ekman expanded his list to include a number of other basic emotions, including embarrassment, excitement, contempt, shame, pride, satisfaction, and amusement. In the 1980s, Robert Plutchik introduced another emotion classification system, known as the Wheel of Emotions. This model demonstrated how different emotions can be combined or mixed together. It includes ecstasy, admiration, terror, amazement, grief, loathing, rage, and vigilance. And all of these can be blended together. Ecstasy could include joy, serenity, and optimism. Admiration, trust, acceptance, love. Terror, fear, apprehension, submission. Amazement, surprise, distraction, awe. Grief, sadness, pensiveness, disapproval. Loathing, disgust, boredom, remorse, contempt. Rage, anger, annoyance, aggressiveness. Vigilance, anticipation, interest, and optimism. Your mind is a powerful tool, and we want to help you use it to its full potential. Using our technology, we've discovered 1,440 emotional triggers in your voice frequency, and where painful memories, frequent and core emotions are hidden in your brain. This means we can help you understand yourself faster, eliminate 10 to 20 years of self-discovery, and know exactly which painful memories and experiences to remove with the timeline therapy process. Emotional blueprint. Let me check in. Do you have memories? Do you have happy memories? What are they? How do they make you feel when you recall them? Do you have painful memories? What are they? How do they make you feel when you recall them? What would you change in your life if you could erase these painful memories? See, your brain is a complex organ. It has hundreds of different areas that are responsible for different functions. The emotional blueprint is one of these areas, and it can be thought of as an outline or plan for how your brain hides painful emotional memory. Emotional imprinting occurs when a person experiences a significant emotional event, something that happens unexpected. It's dramatic. It forces them into isolation, and they have no way to cope in that moment. The experience then becomes stored in the emotional blueprint, which can be later triggered by similar situations. Emotional memory is when we recall emotions that have been experienced in the past. For example, if someone has experienced anger when someone has taken advantage of them and now feels someone else is going to or is taking advantage of them, they will associate their current situation with the feeling of anger that they experienced at some point in the past. Now, the truth is, your brain might be sabotaging your success by repressing painful memories. Painful memories and negative emotions can be harmful to your body. And it's not just what you're feeling. It's also how long you've been holding on to them. They can lead to high blood pressure, heart disease, post-traumatic stress disorder, insomnia, psychosomatic illness, and even cancer. But the good news is there's a solution. Timeline therapy is a tool that helps remove the root cause of any painful memory so you can resolve it at any time. But before we get to that, let's explore your emotional life journey and begin to pinpoint what your brain has been hiding from you. In today's training, you have learned about your emotional life journey and what painful memories your brain has been hiding from you. You've learned about your Enneagram and your combination of the 9 types, including your base and grows towards style. You've learned about frequent and core emotions, the ones you feel most frequently and which ones are most intense. You've learned about your characteristics and inner potential, what makes you think, feel, and act the way that you do. You've learned about your start and finishing speeds. You've learned about your levels of consistency, knowing how to start and how you'll finish. You've learned about your musical note personality, your personality note balance. You've discovered the emotions processing indicator, whether you're balanced or under processing. You've learned about the extrovert and introvert levels, how you express emotions. Do you do it externally or internally, and to what degree? You've also learned about your stress levels, what stresses you, people or things. You also learned about emotional intelligence, which is the biggest predictor of success. Now, I was taught by my mentor that when you learn something, it should have a value attached to it. And when you do this, you train your brain to avoid procrastination and take action because there's an incentive. My mentor also taught me that 85% of your motivation comes from your future. So when you know how much an idea is worth to you, you are more likely to take action on it. So today, I want you to get into this $1 million habit, and I want you to decide how much these ideas are worth to you and how much you're going to make from them in the future. Thank you for joining us in this training. I wish you a wonderful day. It's been a pleasure to be here with you. And to remind you, you are one of the most important people in society today. Because with these new insights, and once you combine them with timeline therapy, you'll be able to systematically remove the painful memories and negative emotions one by one. And as your performance improves, the lives of everybody else improves around you. Have a wonderful day.